Hello everybody, we're Gail, Elizabeth and Michael, and we'd like to present a conceptual look at the TomorrowMakers game, a bold and playful leap forward for humanity. If you use a computer, you will know that the operating system requires regular upgrades. Humanity also has a system by which we operate, and our mission is to create a game that explores and develops an entirely new way for humanity to come together. This is a vast and complex undertaking, but playing a game makes it much less daunting. The game itself incorporates significant bodies of work, including social dynamics, game theory, human governance, biomimicry and the principles of nature, complementary currencies, and emerging strategic technologies. But why consider an upgrade to our operating system? Well, we're facing a perfect storm of social, ecological, political, and economic crises. We're like a small boat tossed around by the tumultuous waves of our crises. Despite our best efforts to navigate this storm, our navigational tools have become ineffective in storms of this magnitude. So we seem to have lost direction, and some believe we are facing the tipping point of either extinction or escaping to a higher order of complexity. This tipping point is global, affecting all nations and all cultures, so it requires a global focus. Buckminster Fuller reminds us that we will never fundamentally change things by fighting or even tweaking the existing reality. We must build an entirely new model capable of running in parallel with the existing model until the new is able to make the old obsolete. This is not an easy undertaking. Questions are, who's going to take the initiative? If it's up to us, where do we start? Should our efforts be small and local or large and global? Are there examples we can follow? And is there a way of stepping into adulthood in a fun, playful, and engaging manner? This is where the TomorrowMakers game comes in. The most popular games today include some form of hunting down and eliminating bad actors, and these are often represented in games as monsters. We can apply the same game thinking to the once useful but now immature systems that have created our current condition. The problem is we don't consider these systems as monsters. They're all just accepted as part of the narrative our societies have embraced as normal. Whoever controls the narrative controls society, and over time humanity has evolved intricate systems to keep the current narrative alive. What we must do is transform the narrative of hierarchies, rigid systems, and outdated rules to more flowing, colorful, and even fun forms of governance, inspired by the elegant simplicity and complex beauty of nature. Getting there will not be easy, and we must be careful not to threaten the existing system. A game is one way of operating below the radar. 1 billion players all navigating new pathways in a fun and engaging way is how we will gradually transform the complicated narrative we have today to a rich, delightfully complex narrative of the world we all know we want. But where can we find examples we can follow?
Making nature our teacher helps us to live in harmony with all Earth beings. Earth's evolution story reveals our human destiny to mature from competition to cooperation. Every species goes through an evolutionary maturation cycle from youthful expansion through competition to mature, peaceful collaboration. Nature is thus on our side as our globalized humanity moves through its adolescent storm of crises and into our mature phase. Ancient Polynesian navigators sailed their canoes over vast oceans without compass because they knew nature's ways so well they couldn't be lost even in those big oceans. That's why we look to the best survivors of such cultures to help us in our current metamorphosis, which has fascinating parallels to the actual metamorphosis of caterpillars into butterflies. A caterpillar can eat hundreds of times its own weight in a day, chomping through its ecosystem till it's so bloated it hangs itself up and falls asleep, its skin hardening into a chrysalis. Inside the body of the dormant caterpillar, a new and very different creature begins to form. Stem cells with a butterfly genome and called imaginal cells are tucked away in the caterpillar's skin all its life, now awakened by the crisis of overeating, fatigue, and breakdown in the caterpillar, allowing them to develop, join together, gradually replacing the caterpillar with a butterfly. Such metamorphosis inside a chrysalis makes a good metaphor for the great changes we humans are now experiencing as we join forces to build a beautiful butterfly world future for all. Most indigenous cultures understood that their own villages, their larger social system of many communities, the ecosystems they were part of, and the whole universe are all living systems embedded within each other as what we call holarchies, with every level obeying the same natural laws. As above, so below was often said through history. And so, our game will involve nature's intelligence, relationships, and mutual learning to discover new ways of organizing humanity as a harmonious, cooperative species within our Earth holarchy.
Like the caterpillar, we are all dying, dissolving our own beliefs about what can be and who can make the world we desire. We are learning that the world becomes what we give form and meaning to. We can no longer expect good or fair results from a handful of power brokers. It is we, the people, together, worldwide, creating a new reality by design, not default. The three of us have created a seed, a core idea, the nutrients for a new operating system. We brought our different bodies of knowledge and points of view together, researching, conversing, playing with the hows, the whys, and whens. The next step is to reach beyond ourselves. We'll engage a larger handful, about 20, of co-designers to steward the development and ambience of the chrysalis for what will become our first large-scale design shop and development for 100 dreamers and doers. These co-designers will mirror the diversity of the larger event they are planning for gamers, technologists, activists, artists, process facilitators, scientists, lawyers, economists, and media coming together in exploration and mutual learning. In early 2019, 100 world citizens ages 8 to 90 will find themselves within the chrysalis as tens and trillions of imaginal cells, intentionally co-creating, unleashing dormant potential, gaining strength, freshness, humility, heart, and mind, maturing our thoughts, releasing group genius, a higher order of thoughts weaving themselves into new patterns. Notice the fractal or recursiveness of scaling from 3 to 20 to 100. Each scaling born out of the previous one, carrying forth the DNA for a new operating system. For all of us, it will be an extraordinary time of mutual learning, with nature as our guide and by our side. We will walk in strange lands, consider the impossible, get lost and found, and take delight in how much we already know, together as part of our future. By mid-2019, we'll be scaling again, as the work from the design shop unfolds outward, reaching out globally, regionally, within classrooms, through meetups, online, and in person. The game will keep evolving and emerging in ways not seen before. We become the new operating system. As T.S. Eliot said, we will not cease from exploration. We'll come to know ourselves again, perhaps for the first time. But how are we going to do this?
An important aspect of the entire TomorrowMakers ethos is that while we share a common intention of a new human operating system, we have no cherished way of getting there, nor do we hold dear to specific outcomes. We firmly believe that only collective wisdom holds the answers to our perfect storm. The group genius that emerges from each design shop is fed back into the next design iteration of the constantly evolving game. The TomorrowMakers game is uniquely powered by collective wisdom. The foundations required for tapping into this wisdom has been prepared over dozens, even hundreds of years. Humanity is finally ready for the next stage of our epic journey. As you can imagine, we're going to need plenty of help to bring this game to life. So if you're ready to add your skills, experience, and energy to building a new human operating system, there are a number of ways to get involved, and you can find all of them at tomorrowmakers.org/connect. You'll find an extensive learning library of thought-provoking material. You can apply or nominate someone you respect to our invitation-only design shops. You can help us build the game in our open source community of game developers, and you can join the early access waitlist to be one of the first to play the game. You can share the journey with your networks and friends. You can provide feedback. You can partner your important initiative with us. You can contribute your wisdom, passion, and commitment to our advisory board. And finally, you can assist us in raising the required seed funding for our for-purpose organization.
We have presented to you our vision of a future by design, not by default. We could not have presented this to you without the invaluable help of a number of people. Rachel Deit and Tanya Simsek, our art and generosity, they gave so much time. Bucky Fuller for the inspiration provided by his world game and just so much more throughout the years. And Slime Mold. Thanks to Slime Mold, one of nature's most remarkable intelligences, for inspiration and wonder.